Greetings, Grandmaster Harmon here with the video camera, and still having issues. Let me see if I can make this thing grow. Okay. Oh, okay. Wow. Wow. So I'm gonna be sideways no matter what I do. Uh, okay. Well, Grandmaster Harmon here, coming to you live from Mombasa, Kenya, and I'm not going to be here long. And I'm working on uh, trying to see if I can get these devices to work and give me some love. But every time I try different things, uh, I keep having trouble. But I've been seeing a lot of the blogs from other people, and they're listening to their stories, and they went through a lot of trials too at the beginning. So I'm just be with it. So today I wanted to come on here and remind black people that when you move to Africa, you don't stop being black. You know, I find there's a lot of jealous people that's out there that like when I came here, people are seeing me and then they're like, "Okay, what's your story?" And then when I tell them, I've been here for 20 years, the way they come at me would be to say, you know, you're a traitor. You left Africa. I mean, you left America and went to Africa. You're a traitor. You didn't stay and fight the fight. But my whole point is, shit. If I'm someplace I gotta fight, why would I want to be that? Why would I want that to be my home? If I gotta constantly fight, if I constantly see my grandparents fighting one generation, then I see another generation after that fight, and see my parents struggle. Why would I want to also be, follow along that line and then put my kids involved in that? So you know, you don't change from being black when you come to modern Africa. You stay black. Although everything about you, you'd be living in an African country, but you don't got to change to be African. You know what I mean? You ain't got to change your food, diet, and habits, and music, what you like, the things that you like. You still got your cultural things that we got from America, which are not many things that to be like right home about. But definitely, you stay there. You going to remain, who you are. I mean, I remain with the same accent. I still talk black. I hope many people can still see that. And even when I'm doing the typing, I, I, I'm still going to use the words I know that express, how I feel, even if the dictionary say that's not a correct word. Doesn't matter to me. So yeah, I wanted to say that this thing is just like it's moving, and I can't know if I should move my head or should I move this thing. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna be like that. I'm gonna be sideways. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to come on. I wasn't gonna come on tonight. It's been raining, weather has been poor, but I decided to come on, and then he was looking at my. Why are you looking at my show, honey? So anyway, uh, I wanted to also come on and express what's going on over there in America. What's happening with you guys? Something is happening seriously because in the last 5 days, I have talked to 5 people who are coming to Kenya. You know, I mean, it's amazing. You know, I started off with the Phil from the Advice Show. He's coming here next week. And, he talked on my chat line here, and I called him and he told me I'm coming, and I'm like, wow. So from him to uh, my my first black belt, Keith Young. He called me, and now he's saying, okay, yeah, he wants to come. He's excited about the trip, you know. And then my first instructor, Mozzie Taylor, talked to him, and he's like, I got my application for my passport. I'm coming, you know. And now, one of the biggest shockers of all is my master, Steve Muhammad, Joe Steve Muhammad, messaging me, told me to call him. He wanted to talk to me, and when I called him, thinking that we're just gonna talk, cause he was my first second instructor. Mozzie was my first instructor. He was teaching me when he was a brown belt. Then he introduced me to Mr. Muhammad, and I stayed with both of them and trained with them for 6 years. One, Mozzie on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Mr. Muhammad on Tuesday and Thursday, like clockwork, like religion. And all the way up until I got first degree black belt. Then I just trained exclusively with Mr. Muhammad after that. But I called Mr. Muhammad, and I'm thinking, we're just going to talk about the blue. I had no idea. He never had any interest about coming to Africa. But when I called him, 1 minute into the conversation, I'm coming to Africa. I'm going to come to Kenya. And I was just totally blown away. I was telling him, I got to hang up because it's not the Mr. Muhammad I know. And he went on and told me more. He told me, Amen, I want to die in Africa. And I was just totally blown away. And, it still to me is a shock. And this live video is going to go out and, let everybody know that, people are coming. I don't know what's going on. I have my show, Black Man's Guide. It's been there for like 9 years now. And I've been always saying that, Africa is the place to be. But like in the last year, it prompted me to start this channel. And in the last week, some of the most important people I know and respect are telling me April 2020, they're coming, And I just want to know what's going on over there in the United States. What's that? All these people are starting to come. My channel has got guys here that's telling me, they always wanted to come. People are in the chat line. I'll be there in September. I'll be there in November. I'll be there in October. I'm like, what's going on? I'm looking on the YouTube channels, and they got all these new channels out for people saying, let's leave the U.S., let's leave Britain. And Britain, my goodness. It's thinking we have it bad in the United States. Britain, those guys are having it really rough. I just read a report where 16,000 British people froze to death because the heat was turned off. That's what they get for privatizing the gas and electricity. When you privatize, they don't play. They say, you don't give me my money, click. And that's exactly what has happened. And they privatized it. Now they find out that people are being frozen to death. And it's a terrible thing that's going on in Britain right now. They don't know what to do. They want to leave the euro. And Europe, the government is telling them, the government knows it's a bad idea, but the people voted on it and overrode the government's vote. And they're trying to delay it. But once they pull the plug on the EU, now I'm telling you, that's the end of Britain. So this thing is not, something that's just happening with blacks in the United States as far as America is concerned. But I was talking to my first black belt, Keith Young, and, he was reminding me, he said, people are becoming aware of the propaganda that's going on out there. They're beginning to see the propaganda is a lie. All these negative things they're talking about Africa, you can just reverse it. And then that's when you'd have the truth. Because it's just like 100-degree, it's like a 90, 100, 360-degree turn. So you talk crap about Africa, but if you just flip it, it just fits so nicely into the United States. Take, for example, China. They said China's going to take over Africa, and the debt of China Africa's got too much debt, and China's going to call in the debt. When you flip it, America's number one debtor nation is the number one debtor nation in the world. That's first thing, and then China holds the majority of America's debt, and they're like threatening to sell off the U.S. bonds. So, uh, you know, it's crazy. You know what I mean? They say that Africa is poor and the people are starving. But if you flip it, you look in the United States and there are poor people and starving people all over the place. People eating out of trash cans. When you get white people eating out the trash can, there's something serious. When you got 100,000 something people leaving the United States because they can't afford to pay their college bills, there's something there. You know, when you got like what 65 some million people not able to pay, late and delinquent on their car loan, what you talking? You're talking what? If you just flip it, it's not the United States is really talking about itself when it comes to talking about negative things about Africa. And so I wanted to get on and talk about that, and you know mention to people, because you get to hear these things where they're gonna say, you know, you're a traitor to your country because you didn't stay in the United States. I'm like, fool! I take the United States with me wherever I go. It's burnt into me like a tattoo, like a brand. The much suffering that they put onto our people in the United States, and I read this shit and I'm like, man, you know, you can't, I mean, it's like it's sick. In fact, I'm doing research gonna come out later about all of the rich, wealthy black communities that grew in the United States. Each and every one of them were destroyed by white riots. You know, I'm thinking Wilmington, Virginia. They tried to cover it up. You know, and there's like a pattern. Like every time you have like a successful black community of a certain size, whites come up with some story. Oh, the nigga looked at the white woman's dress, and then they wipe out the whole. That's the reason they wipe out the whole. The whole community, burn it to the ground. What they did in 1921, and then of course Black Wall Street. There were many of them, but we just don't connect them in history to see the pattern that they never gonna let us grow and be successful in the United States. They're happy go lucky right now that all the major black communities are being destroyed, to be gentrified out, run over, and then here we are just running around. Now we gotta live in strange communities. We don't know. We don't have to see ourselves walking down the street. We're, it's terrible. And more and more people are coming forth and saying the facts. A lot of Negroes, they'll pretend like that's not true. They're looking at it like Tyler Perry gets a new studio, and everybody like, oh yeah, we coming back. Well, you ain't coming back nowhere, bro. There's no way that the place can be accessible as it could be if you ain't having children. If the black community is going down, and then what's that do to any business for black people? If your population is decreasing, if your population ain't together, these these white studios can come along any day and wipe out Tyler Perry's business. And this is why Tyler Perry is getting on TV talking about, oh, I'm for the gays, the LGBTs can be represented at my studio, and the homosexuals and gays can be represented, and blacks and whites can work together. I'm just so happy to build this studio under where Martin Luther King's hometown and all of this. And I'm like, you know what happened to Martin Luther King? Has he forgotten history? Even Martin Luther King told you the dream was a nightmare. What he make you think it's going to be any different? It's just another smokescreen to keep us hanging on, so that we think like somebody's going to be prospering. Meanwhile, we got 100 million, not 100 million, but 1 million brothers in jail. in prison. Huh? Meanwhile, they're giving our sisters no opposite chance. If you want to collect money from the government, you got to be sterilized. If you got two children and you go to the doctor or you go for social service, they say we can't give you no more no more money because unless you get your tubes tied. And black women are doing this. This is what's going on right now. And if you stop and just think about it, the government will give you money if you get your tubes tied. Think the government will give you money if you get your tubes tied. Think. Huh? Their mission is not for us to grow in number. Their mission is for our numbers to reduce to a level that's around 4 or 5% of the world of the country's population. And these these people are going to sing the song, or they're going to ignore the reality of the population, or they're going to trick the numbers, or they're going to have you Negroes get on TV and tell you we 45 million strong in the United States. Like we got these big numbers that's growing, and all of a sudden everybody decided that we're going to live somewhere else other than in the black community. No, man, it's not that you got big numbers. Our numbers are reducing, and this is why they're able to come in and gentrify a place. Somewhere like where I lived in Los Angeles, and in the Compton area, where it started off with white people, then it went to black people, then it went to Mexican people, and now the whites are moving back in. You know, hooking up them Starbucks and everything, and then pow, there you go. So the things are just changing, you know, and you know, areas like mine. When I was early days of Black consciousness, I used to talk about that. I used to say that whites feel so bad they come into their neighborhood that they grew up in, and then they find everybody's black. And I never thought when I was saying that I would have to be saying the same thing. I would get the same feeling. I go back to my own neighborhood, and it's oh man, you bad. You don't like Mexicans. No, it's not like I'm saying I don't like Mexicans. It's just that I'm saying like we don't have no legacy, you know, that we can look back on. This thing of Stanford and Sons, that's just never going to happen because they train us and educate us to believe that we should be separate from each other. You know what I mean? We should not be close. You should get a job in this city and work over here in this city, move to that city, and you're away from your family. But you say that's okay because it's normal. That's what you're supposed to do. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to stay close, build a strong family unit, have a central location, somebody's house or somebody's house somewhere. Have some land that's the family land, family owns that land. But they took all of that away from us, and they told us that shit and made us believe that shit was all right. And now look where we are today. You see, homeless, stateless, cityless, communityless. I remember living in Los Angeles under Tom Bradley. Everything was black. Everything was beautiful, and all that was changed after he got out of office. You know, we started slowly dissolving, and blacks gets caught the hell of it in Los Angeles. High rent prices. You know what I'm saying? Redlining is still there. It's secret. Racism still alive and well, and you know the LAPD had to be sued because their white police officers was kicking blacks, forcing blacks out of the police department. It was like it's madness, and you know that's where we are today. And now all of a sudden, I start getting all these phone calls and talking to people, and they're all saying, "I'm coming." They're not even like, "I'm coming." That's what they're saying. They're not even saying like I'm thinking about coming. They're saying, "I'm coming." And unanimously, they all say that America is really mistreating blacks, and it's like it's too much. And with the oncoming recession that's coming, oh yeah, it's coming. J.P. Morgan just did a thing that said the risk of the chances of a coming recession is high and rising. I don't know if you've seen that article, J.P. Morgan. And then, of course, General Motors just laid off 15,000 more people, and it's just getting like, whatever Trump is saying, it makes no sense because they're impeaching him anyway. But what's killing me today is the GOP has overridden Trump's concept going on in Syria and decided to put sanctions on Turkey. And they said would bypass the president's point of view right from the beginning. So, uh, you know, I'm looking at all of this and I'm like, wow, because I watch the international news a lot more, where that's really where they keep the information from blacks. You really can't see what America is doing on the outside of the country. They've been let us focus what's going on the inside. But things that's going on in China and what's going on in Hong Kong, all these things are relevant. And Turkey has now invaded Syria. These things are relevant. When you break it down and you look at the whole reason behind it, what's going on, you see like, okay, this thing is serious. And, you know, uh, they don't really make that, they make it look like it's not serious, but it is really serious. And a whole region can just go against America. And that means that there's a lot of revenue and a lot of opportunities, a lot of jobs, a lot of construction jobs that America from construction type jobs that America would get, they're not getting because no country wants to do business with them, and that includes Africa. So every year they do a report and they show that America is doing less and less business with African countries. Or you could just flip that and say that African countries are doing less and less business with America. You know, especially after the Inga Dams situation, where the IMF just woke up and pulled out in the middle of the biggest dam in the world. They were building it, and then because the Congolese decided that they wanted it to be bigger, put out more wattage, America just dropped the whole project. And so I did an investigation, and I came to realize that America wanted to build this little small dam in that area, and then it wouldn't be able to grow. But the Congolese government came to find out that they could put almost double the wattage if they did in that same dam. And when they brought that to when they brought that to the IMF attention, they just pulled out of the project, left it like that, you know, tied up the project. So even the Chinese who came in and said we can do the job, even them they have to deal with the IMF's thing that in the international court. So it's a terrible situation, and it just adds on to the fact that America is not giving us any kind of love, and they're not gonna give us love, and they damn sure not gonna give us no ADOS money. And they tried that a few months back. Now the thing with Tyler Perry Studios, I'm happy for the brother. Don't get me wrong, but it's still I got questions. You know what I'm saying? Now you're gonna get mad. I mean, how can you? At that point, the brother worked hard and blah blah blah. He did Medea to got all this money. Where did the money come for this thing? Who are the investors for this massive studio? I know. Oprah was just there on TV. Everybody's happy and everything like that, and But I have to beg the question because too many times in the past, things like this have come up out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden, uh, scandal number one happens, and then we lose it, and we become more embarrassed uh, coming out of that, uh, you know, for whatever the kind of propaganda they create on it, than we would when it was open. So yeah, in the midst of all the celebration, uh, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying that Taylor Perry, whatever happens there, he would have been far better off to open up that studio in an African country. He would have paid a lot less money, and all these movie stars, all they had to do was get on the airplane and fly. There's direct flights now to Africa all over the place, and make movies and live, and then not only have the movies made for the American audiences, because because white people ain't gonna support that shit. They ain't looking at Tyler Perry's movies. He gonna say, "Oh, whites and blacks." No, whites and blacks ain't gonna come together for that. You talking that Martin Luther King stuff. Tyler Perry talking about Martin Luther King as part of the vision of when he made where he made his studios. And I'm saying that the dream is dead. It died a long time ago. Whites gonna shop with whites, blacks gonna shop with blacks. Now you're gonna get some few whites here and there, and you're gonna try to promote them like that's a big thing. But that ain't no big thing because we are a small minority in the country. And every black would have to come together and try to watch these movies to make the soundstage be profitable. But meanwhile, far majority of whites was not gonna handle it's not gonna handle that. And you'll see white studios can compete against each other. Competition make people be creative. But you put a black studio there, and white studios gonna compete with it after you done said that the Tyler Perry Studios is bigger than all these other studios combined. Are you kidding me? Have, have you not know how whites are? We're not gonna read about it in the newspaper. We're just gonna see the scandals coming out of that shit, or we're gonna see great things coming from other companies. Or when Tyler puts a movie out, Paramount gonna release a movie, and then they gonna bring him down like that because that's the way it is. Sony Studios, Paramount Studios, Century Studios, Century 21, all these studios, they compete with each other. They're ruthless. And now he's talking about he don't need the white people. Shoot, man, there's no way you can live in America and not need white people. Think about it. There's no way you're gonna live in America. You think Oprah Winfrey can have her studios and just be like, okay, now I don't have to never talk to white people? No. Your advertisement dollars gotta come from white people. Because you know black people ain't gonna sponsor it. If you blacks only got 2% of their money in 2% of their money in black banks. What's that tell you? Now I'm sounding like the gloom and doom guy in Tyler Perry's movies, but they're the ones that put the shit out there. And I don't have to start going down the list of the things that we have had in the past that made us feel proud, and then where are they today? You see? I don't even have to go down that list. So, yeah, my whole point is this. Uh, you don't stop being black when you come to Africa. You know, the saga continues until we die and our African born children are there alone. So don't let people tell you that, it's you you either for us or against us type of mentality. You know what I mean? That is just ridiculous. We are African people. We're African people. We were stolen. Get it right. We were stolen. And by the same people that stole us are the ones that we're sitting around with talking about, can I get on a plate of food master? Can I sit at the table? Can I sleep? Can I eat at your restaurant? You see? And every time we did something like that, they had an answer for us, a trick answer. And somewhere back in them southern old plantation hotels and backwoods, told white people is laughing at us with a big fat grin on their face. You know, you know, these fools think we're gonna give them 40 acres and a mule. You know what I'm saying? These fools think they free. They don't know nothing. We're gonna show them some Jim Crow. You see? So I don't want to think like that anymore. I'm free. I don't have to deal with this situation anymore in Africa. And I think like a lot of brothers and sisters in America are beginning to see the light. And Africa is a paradise, in my opinion. Okay, it's a paradise compared to where we came from. You're not really free in America. You can't be free. You walk around the streets nowadays, and you're just like a minority. You feel it, and there's no black community you can run to. When you come out your apartment, you gotta be looking at your neighbors, and neighbors looking at you, and you gotta wonder, is this person, how this person perceive me? You know what I mean? So when you come to Africa, it's all that is lifted from you. You walk around, everybody's just like you. And that's the greatest freedom I can ever say in the world. You know, you go do your business and people take you for who you are, what you represent, not what color your skin is. And if you haven't felt that kind of freedom, brother, you ain't lived. You ain't never been free. You see, I ain't turning on the TV. I ain't got to worry about looking at somebody's TV show that's gonna depict my people in a bad light. So when I go outside, I got to watch my back. I ain't got to worry about that. I ain't got to worry about, somebody with a gun shooting me. I ain't got to worry about the police pulling me over and making my heart almost jump out my fucking chest when I see them lights in my rearview mirror. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to worry about having the right paperwork. I ain't got to worry about all of that because Africa is different. It's laid back, cool, take it at your own pace. The people are totally friendly. And, you can get a lot more done than if you're sitting there struggling in America. Talk about I built this country. I'm gonna fight to my last breath. You ain't gonna fight. You're just gonna die. You're not gonna fight. You never talking about black people who are gonna start teaching their kids how to shoot the gun. Man, whites got 25 times more bullets in their guns, waiting for you. You shoot the first shot, and they're gonna just riddle you full of bullet holes. You know what I mean? And in some parts of the United States, it's like a powder keg. Because if one black person get the notion that he get too tired, he don't want to make the trip to Africa, but he banked on America, and then lo and behold, he realized he been lied to. He pick up a gun and go shoot 5 white people. What you think those white people gonna do? Hmm? You think they gonna let it go? Just say shoot him and that's it? No, they gonna come for us. They gonna come for us not only with guns and bullets, but also with you know, kicking us off jobs, making our jobs life more stressful, that kind of thing. As if we don't already have that issue. As if we don't already have that. Where they did a study in Britain and found that black doctors in the United States are paid at least $35,000 less just because they black. So you gonna be a doctor in the United States? You're gonna make 35,000 less than what the white doctor make. Don't tell me that racism ain't there. It's killing us. Hmm? And that goes on down the line. 2% of lawyers are only 2% of lawyers are in partnerships in law firms. Now, what kind of legal representation can we get like that with those kind of odds against us? Surely, why live in a minority with the people that don't like you? That's the thing. It'd be different if they didn't care, but they don't. They more than don't care. They don't like you. They did a study. 50% of blacks have open bias towards black people. Open bias. And 56% have hidden. Another study, 56% have hidden bias. They bias and they don't even realize they bias. Oh, I got lots of black friends. This is bullshit. So anyway, if you like what I'm saying today, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. And the many more we have, because it seems to me that I'm gonna have a lot of interviews coming up uh, with black people coming from the continent, and we're gonna just wait for that. Today here in Mombasa it was raining all day. That's very unusual, and I just stayed home and relaxed. But then I got to talking to my martial art instructor, Mr. Muhammad, and he told me all of this stuff, and I was just like I couldn't believe it. I'm calling up my friends and saying, in the U.S. and telling them what Mr. Muhammad told me, and they couldn't believe it. It's like, wow, I mean, this situation is cool. But one thing that Mr. Muhammad told me was that, he said, I mean, you'd be shocked. Around 80% of black people is talking about moving and leaving Africa, and I was like, okay, well, that's amazing. You know what I mean? You guys ain't telling me that. I know you guys see, oh, Amin is there, so we're gonna just surprise him and show up. I know how my people are. Don't surprise me. I don't like surprises. Call me on the fucking phone. Let's organize something. So when you get here, you don't waste your money on things that you don't need to waste your money on. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Too many of you guys come here, want to show me. I mean, you don't know nobody here. You just hear of me. You come here and you want to show me that you can survive all around in Africa like I did. You know what I mean? And I've been here 20 years. I'm telling you, you can survive here. So you ain't got to prove it to me. But you ain't got to come here and like throw it up in my face. This one brother, he gonna buy an apartment before he even, start to talk to me, and then tell me, oh, I got an apartment. You can come and see it if you want. Damn well he want me to come see the place. You know what I mean? So damn, I'll just go. Hmm? That's Negroes coming to Africa, and they still got that in their system. But another problem that we have with our people, we got a very serious communication and social skills problem. We black people, we can go years without talking to each other. You know, I got it. I got it too. We don't communicate enough. I don't know if we don't like rejection, or we don't want to hear no bad news, or you don't want the person, maybe the person might ask you for money or what. But we got our problems, and then we be like, we don't socialize with people when we in deep problems. Keep it to ourselves. We suffer in silence, hoping that until that time is over. Then that's when I'm gonna call and hang out with you. You know what I mean? We got a serious communication, and it's because of the environment we grew up in. We're growing up in. You know, it's no way you can work this thing out without communication. It's now I didn't know when my first black belt contacted me. We hadn't talked in 20. He didn't know I was even coming to Africa. He had to learn about it from someone else. So I'd say like 22 years we had not talked. But the moment we got on the phone, less than a minute out into the conversation, we was laughing like the old days. You know what I'm saying? And since that time, because I have changed, I have called him like several times. And I try to make open up communications on a regular basis. So when I talked to Mr. Muhammad, I had not talked to you know my master in I don't know, it's been like some years, directly on the phone. We talk on social media, but we never like talked on the phone in a long time. And I told him, look, I'm gonna be calling you. I'm gonna be what's the best way to get in contact with you, and I'm gonna be making sure I keep communicating with him on a regular. You know what I'm saying? I've changed. I come to realize we can't be like that now. Just like okay, I'm calling people I don't normally call all the time, but we gotta open up the communication. We can't be like keeping grudges. You know what I'm saying? We can't be like, okay, I was jealous of so and so, and so and so got a new car or got a house, or he got a job or something like that. He's dressing really nice, and I'm jealous, so I won't talk to him until I get those things. So you come up and you get a brand new car, and you're dying for to take it to show the guy, but you forget you ain't talked to the guy in 3 or 4 or 5 years. So hey man, I was just passing by, I hadn't seen you in a long time. Oh, check out my new ride. Do you really think black people each other is stupid? They know that you're there just your floss. So, we gotta stop flossing. Stop getting and digging ourselves deep into capitalism, falling into debt. Most of us, are struggling. But we want to put on this face like we're not struggling. Or we got the secret plan of action that's gonna bring us out of it. Man, have you seen the economy of the United States? What they're talking about? You ain't no plan you can have that won't be affected if the country goes into another recession. And there's not one economist that says that it's not going to happen. In fact, they're educating us and showing us the history of the United States, recession after recession, downturn after downturn. So one downturn is coming, and now that social media is at its top peak, we sitting up here and we are being able to predict it. And you know what you think gonna happen when that downturn hits? You think your dream of getting a house, or your dream of getting a car, or your dream of getting a better job, or your dream of going to college, or your dream of getting this chick that she's still single, but you want to try to get the big money and try to impress her, or I got to get even with so and so, or you got to show your friends that you've made it. All them dreams go out the window when it's a recession or a depression, and people that's coming. So you making your big plan, or what, you got your big plans on what you're gonna do with your life in the next 10, 15 years. If you 30 years old, and okay, if you 35 years old, at 35 to 40 years old, you can stop right now, assess your plans, and see if they're gonna work or not. You really can. If you really just sat down quiet with yourself and be realistic with yourself, you can see if my plan is gonna work. And then add like a big ass fat, nice, healthy, fat recession in the middle of that shit, and then see if your plan can really work. Hmm? I'm telling you, why Africa is rising. Europe and the United States are dying. Now, I don't know how much of it affects the United States, but Europe is directly affected by the growth of the U.S. I mean, the growth of modern Africa today. You must understand this, that as Africa grows, so do the governments. The governments are becoming more stable. They're becoming more people friendly. The Africans are diversifying the power from the presidents, and the people are getting what they want. So when it comes to every sector of running a country, the people are involved in it. And the African people are saying, no, the Chinese not going to come and take advantage of us. And that's what they did. The Chinese came and said, we don't want to take advantage of you. We want to be a partner in business. And that's what's happening. And that's why they keep on being partners with China. When somebody comes and try to take their minerals, African countries now have laws in place that say you can't take our minerals. When somebody comes in, when a British man in Britain comes to Kenya, purchases like so many hundreds of thousands of acres of land, goes back to Britain, and just leaves the land like that, there's a law now. Say if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. And this is one of the biggest problems in Africa. People don't realize it. You go to any African city, you come into Mombasa, you go into Nairobi, I guarantee you're gonna find big empty box tracts of land in the middle of the city, in the middle of the town, just this big, and it's owned by foreigners. And where you can put in like 70, 75 homes, or even a big housing estate, it's just bare land. Nobody's using it, no, and nobody's trying to build on it. So the area becomes economically down because it's not able to grow anymore. And in the middle of this growth, it has to spread outside of the community. There's this big giant space of land that's just sitting there. Well, the Kenyan government has saw to that and said, like, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. And what you're finding in the area, even where I'm at, people are just moving in and building on these empty tracts of land. And that means more people will move here. That means more business will be able to come into play. Businesses will make money, and it goes full circle. People buy from the business, businesses can grow. People move in, they start having kids, families grow. Remember, population doubles every 25 years, so it ain't gonna take no time before the area just uh, that influx of people in the area would impact the whole area. You know, so this is what's going on, and while the United States is there, uh, you know, building movie studios to entertain you, or blacks in the United States building movie studios to entertain you, and try to make you believe like this is a great day for black people. Uh, the overall picture is still bleak. So it doesn't make any sense to me. They open up a big movie studio and everybody talks about how great that is, but they don't talk about the overall situation of black people, and that is what pissed me off. You see, because they were there, trying to sell like this is something black people can be proud of, you know, as if we didn't have like a black astronaut who Dr. Ronald McNair, who he was killed. And then when he died, they did a research on all the people that died in the Challenger disaster and found out that that guy was brilliant, far brilliant than any other astronaut. And they even named a street after him in his hometown. And then the next thing you know, people are talking about that the Challenger they didn't crash. The people in the Challenger supposedly are still walking around today. Well, I don't know. There are people that say we didn't even really go to the moon. And the Chinese went there. I know the Americans were scared to death, but luckily they went on the dark side of the moon. moon instead of on the bright side where all these landings were supposed to have taken place. So yeah, you know, the truth gonna come out sooner or later because people are damn near doing private trips to the moon now. They're gonna find out if there's any of these debris from the different uh, moon landings if it's there. Right now they haven't seen it. They haven't shown us. They showed us a fake, and then it was exposed as a fake, and that scared me a lot. And so just stay tuned. If America is just one big giant lie, and the biggest lies they have told us about us, about our contribution to the United States, and then hidden that from us, the destruction of our people, the murdering of our people in the United States, and then things like, okay, they're gonna give us reparations money. Everybody gets excited. Tyler Perry opens a movie studio. Everybody gets excited. But at the end of the day, the reality is more and more blacks are packing up and leaving the United States, tired of the buffoonery and the foolishness. We don't do it in mass numbers. We're not socializing with each other. We got that problem right now. But then at the end of the day, we are getting here and setting up shop. I met another brother. He was told me he was a Green Beret from Virginia, and he's in Mombasa. And he didn't travel to 30 African countries. Told me I'm settling here. And I was like, wow. So I looked at the brother. The brother got tattoos of the Ankh, hieroglyphics on his arms. He was serious brother. You know what I'm saying? He chose Kenya, and he chose Mombasa to be where he wanted, where he wanted to end up. So, uh, you know, uh, this all happened to him too in a space of about a week. I'm seeing all this happening. So I don't know if there's an influx. Let me know. I can't see the chat line today, but if you like the show, uh, remember to like and subscribe. And the comment section is there on how you can super chat us. We don't have super chat in Africa. We only have uh, African super chat, which is through Western Union. We're working on that issue, and but for now, for the channel, for this channel, the way you support us is through WesternUnion.com. The information on how to do that is in the description. So like, subscribe, support the channel. We're gonna come out with some great things, and we've been coming out with some great things because this information I'm telling you today is just hot off the press, and we're gonna see the results of it